Imagine for a moment, if you would. The White House calls and asks for your help on a special project. As a decorated patriot, you are up for the task to help your nation and its people. As you rationalize underneath the guise of justice, felonies are being committed, people are dying, and things are slowly uncovered. Join me as we journey back to Washington, D.C., 1972, where an E. Howard Hunt is about to experience this exact dilemma. These are the White House Plumbers. I know we all heard about the infamous Watergate scandal, but what most of us probably don't know is that these men were just complete and utter
third-rate burglars.
For those of you who don't know what the Watergate scandal is, on June 17, 1972, 5 men were caught burglarizing the Democratic National Committee at the Watergate complex in Washington, D.C., with the sole purpose of political spying and sabotage with the help from E. Howard Hunt and G. Gordon Liddy, who are a part of President Richard Nixon's re-election committee. The White House Plumbers is an original miniseries that's brought to you by HBO, based on the 2007 tell-all book Integrity by Eagle Grove. So now that we're all semi-caught up, let's get right on into it. Most of our storyline here follows 2 individuals, but there's a lot of different side characters and people introduced throughout. So today we're going to classify them a little bit differently and be putting the characters into groupings. The Hunts consist of E. Howard Hunt, his wife Dorothy Hunt, and their 4 children, St. John, Kevin, Lisa, and David. But only really 2 of them matter, and that's St. John and Kevin, but we'll get to those in later episodes. I will say that throughout the entire series, Dorothy is my favorite character. From episode 1, like 20 minutes in, she just makes me laugh so hard. Every time she is on screen, I am just cackling and laughing so hard. She is the true definition of Petty White.
It's going to be okay. I have a plan.
You take that stupid fucking apron off. I can't even look at you, okay?
The Liddys consist of G. Gordon Liddy, his wife Fran, and their 5 children: Thomas, Alexandra, Grace, Raymond, and James. We don't see much of the Liddys other than Gordon, and sometimes his wife when he's like forcing her to do things and being rude to her.
Just consider it.
Shh. We never...
The Cubans don't show up too much other than the multiple attempts at breaking in, and then during the trials. Granted, they play a big role and have a bunch of little like funny quips and funny lines.
I think I would own you.
What kind of a drug addict, A, brings his own drugs to a crime scene, and B, scatters them about the floor and leaves them behind?
That's a fair point.
But other than that, they're kind of just like a break-in crew. John Dean doesn't fit a specific group per se. He's kind of just the lawyer from the Nixon administration that orchestrated the whole plan and agenda. Since this is our first TV miniseries review, I'm going to tweak our formula a little bit, and we're going to do 1 video per episode. So we're going to review an episode per video. That way we're all well informed about the show without any potential huge spoilers happening. I would be lying to you if I said that the first 2 minutes didn't have me laughing my ass off when it showed that it wasn't even attempt number 1.
Leo, ¿qué pasa?
These are the wrong tools.
What? He has the wrong tools. How is that even possible?
I have the right tools
He has the right tools.
in Miami. I'm so sorry, boss.
Let's go. Vámonos.
After seeing that it had multiple attempts, I just had to keep watching. We opened the first episode with Howard getting confronted by his boss.
Howard, I just read the copy for the Hugh account. It's not quite there yet.
Which is a really good scene because it gives us a glimpse of how entitled Howard feels about things and how he feels about himself.
So, you want me to make choking kids more spicy?
Well,
Christ, Spence, is that my legacy, working on this garbage?
But then it gets smashed once his boss brings him off of his high horse.
we really need you to be a little more grateful for this job, Howard. Remember, you were unhirable when the agency dumped you.
Later on at home, he gets a call from Charles Colson, who tells him that there's been a Pentagon leak and he is just the man for the job. Once at the EOB, Howard is introduced to his partner in crime, Gordon Liddy. And let me tell you, this guy is just the biggest schmuck in the world.
He has a thing that he does to prove his commitment. He'll hold his hand in the flame of a candle.
Scratch that. Both Gordon and Howard are schmucks.
Colson made you sound like a regular James Bond.
Funny, he never mentioned you. For the record, James Bond is a work of fiction. I am the real deal. I write fiction, so I know the difference.
About a quarter of the way through the episode, Howard and Gordon are tasked with breaking into a psychiatric's office to try to get files on a man named Ellsberg who has been leaking things to the press. This is where our story begins. They get all disguised up, fly up to Miami to try to take photos of whatever's in this file box with the CIA cameras and such, but not before almost getting caught by the Spanish cleaning lady. The mission is semi-successful with the filing cabinet being locked, but they did learn a lot about the premises and take a lot of photos to look back on. So they decide to celebrate with a little double date with the wives at the Liddy's home, which leads me to probably one of my top 3 favorite scenes of the entire series. I might get copyrighted for this, so sorry HBO, but this whole scene needs to be shown.
How did you two meet?
His sister set us up.
I selected Fran for her high intelligence. She used to work at IBM.
Receptionist.
And, of course, her Celtic Teutonic genes.
Lineage is very important to Gordon, even more so than intelligence.
I hope you all brought your appetites tonight, because Franny makes a mean roast.
I love it.
wird stets nur ein Teil eines Volkes
Is that Hitler?
aus wirklich
Yes.
aktiven Kämpfern bestehen. Und ihnen wird mehr gefordert
Franny, do you want to go
als
check
von
the
den
potatoes?
Millionen der übrigen
I set a
Volksgenossen.
timer. I'll hear
Für
it go.
sie genügt nicht die
Intelligence.
bloße Ablehnung
Gordon, you don't happen to
des
have any
Gesetzes.
jazz, do you?
Dauer
Big
soll
band
das
there,
Buch
Benny
nicht
Goodman.
enden.
You know, I know
Ziel aber
Gene
muss sein,
Krupa.
You met him once, Howard.
alle
What is he yelling
anständigen
about?
Deutschen
Die Kunst Griechenland.
werden das
What about
Land zu
show
richten.
tunes? Do you have any show
Nur
tunes?
die
Oh, this is
besten
better.
Nationalsozialisten
He's talking about art as
sind
propaganda for the
Eidgenossen.
ancient Greeks. Of course, he's comparing the Hellenic ideal to the Bolsheviks. Oh, God!
Es ist unser Wunsch und Wille,
Oh,
dass
it's
dieser
okay, just
Staat und
eggs,
dieses
Gordon, just
Reich
eggs.
bestehen soll
And some
in
kids.
den kommenden Jahrtausenden.
Those
Wir
goddamn
können
punks are
glücklich
back.
sein zu wissen,
Which leads to one of my top 3 favorite moments of Dorothy being petty because it's just phenomenal.
Sorry,
dass
everybody.
diese
I'll be right
Zukunft
back.
rechtlos uns gehört.
He's going upstairs.
When I tell you that I lost my mind for like a solid 10 to 20 minutes when I first saw this scene, I am not lying to you. I even took a video on my phone of the scene to send to Lady Maj while she was at work because somebody needed to see how funny this scene was.
Wir können glücklich sein zu wissen, dass diese Zukunft rechtlos uns gehört.
The next day after dinner, that they're told that they have another chance to go and grab the file out of the filing cabinet, but they can't break and enter themselves. So what do? The next best thing, obviously. They hired the Cubans that Howard worked with during the failed invasion of the Bay of Pigs. What could possibly go wrong? Well, everything.
George, we've got a problem.
This is when we find out that the file was moved and how truly competent the Cubans are.
Eduardo, you need to see this.
What happened?
We had a little trouble with the lock on the filing cabinet. It broke, so we had to improvise.
We broke into a doctor's office down the hall.
We made a mess, threw some pills around to make it seem like junkies were looking for drugs.
So yeah, the Cubans were effective, but were they the smartest and best team that Howard could have found? I don't think so. Granted, they got the job done and learned that the files were moved, but look how fucked up they left this place. Yet somehow, when Gordon and Howard show up to work the next day, they're promoted to the committee to re-elect the president. Because
the president needs men of action.
Like, yeah, they're men that can take action, but are they good at it? Throughout the series, we will learn, no, that they are the absolute worst at it. Actually, we get our first glimpse of the world's 2 worst spies during the closing scene of the first episode.
Out of the tree of life, I just picked me a plum. You came along and everything started into hum.
What have we got?
One of our cameras was used in an op for the White House. They forgot to take the film out of the camera when they gave it back.
What the fuck is this?
Best is yet to come, and babe, won't that be fine? You think you've seen the sun, but you ain't seen it shine.
That's going to do it for the first episode of this TV review of the White House Plumbers. I know it's a new form of content, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed this first episode. If you did enjoy and want to see how this ends, make sure to subscribe and turn notifications on so you see each time a new White House Plumbers video is uploaded. There's going to be 4 more coming over the next couple weeks. Make sure to check out the description where you can find me on all your different forms of social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Discord, Twitch. It's all down there. And until next time, much love, Majin fam. See you later.
Nixon now.